What's all the excitement about? The best collegiate swimmers and divers have come to Auburn University to prove who is best in the nation. And Cal Berkeley has come with a strong team looking to defend their NCAA team title. It's the 2012 NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championships on ESPNU. Spring has started to show its colors on the campus of Auburn University, and the best collegiate swimmers and divers are here for the 2012 NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championships. We are inside the James E. Martin Aquatic Center, and here are the standings after the first day of competition, with the defending champions Cal Berkeley in the lead. Hi everybody, I'm Trey Bender alongside our swimming expert, Olympic gold medalist Rowdy Gaines. Glad you're with us. Whenever we talk about this meet, Rowdy, the relays obviously come to mind.
Yeah, they sure do, Trey, and it's very simple math. Cal won the meet last year by 29.5 points over Georgia. They scored 186 points on relays. They won 3 of the 5 relays, got second in another, third in another, so relay strength is a critical component of this competition.
We asked the Cal head coach, Terry McKeever, about defending the championship.
I think just the expectations. So this is a new place for us as a program to have expectations, and we even took a little bit further with kind of putting a dartboard or a bullseye on the back of our t-shirt and trying to just embrace the idea of people will be gunning for you and coming after you, and just to enjoy it. We worked hard to get to that spot.
Well, she does have a target on her back, and she's right, but she's also the head Olympic coach for the 2012 Olympic Games, so she's used to that. They've won 2 of the 3 last championships, so I expect Cal to be very, very strong again on the relays and overall.
Now, these are the swimming and diving championships at Auburn, Alabama. Our diving expert is Cynthia Potter. She has more on that side of things.
Thanks, Trey. There are 3 events in which divers can score points for their teams in this championship. One of those has already taken place, and on the 1-meter springboard, Southern California senior and co-captain Tori Ishimatsu went into the lead on this, the second-to-last round, and did the best dive of the competition. She held on to the lead in the 6th round and scored 20 points, all important points, for Southern California. Interestingly, the California Bears have a diver qualified for the first time in 20 years for this championship, and she will dive in all 3 events.
Thanks, Cynthia. We'll get to the diving in a little while, but first the 200-yard medley relay. We've talked about the importance of the relays in the team competition, and the top seed is the California Golden Bears, who set the record in this event last year.
And you're so right, Trey. And these are the exact same 4 swimmers that won the championship and broke the record last year. They are definitely the heavy favorites. There's some as far as the dark horses go, but clearly Cal's the team to beat, right there in the middle of the pool in lane 4. There's Cindy Tran right there. Watch her get out to a huge lead for Cal. Potentially, she comes in seated first in the 100 backstroke. Definitely has great speed.
Tran very good underwater.
Yeah, she is great. That's a good point. Watch her come off this wall right here and see what she does. She gets that great undulation going, and then she just explodes to the surface. She takes advantage of that full 15 meters off the wall.
A 135.16 this morning, just off that NCAA mark, and here they go to leg 2. Caitlyn Leverens.
Wow, what a great lead off for Cal. 23.4, my goodness. The only swimmer under 24, and she did it by over half a second. And then this is where Cal's so strong, Trey. Here's Caitlyn Leverens, and she's already won the 200 IM. They just have so many weapons. Not quite as much speed. You'll see the field start to inch up on her, but still such a huge advantage.
Bria Larson was with Texas A&M on their second leg.
But they needed to do more. Bria Larson definitely would come in and do a great job with them in the breaststroke, but they needed to do more to be able to close the gap even more with Cal.
Colleen Foch, the senior for the Bears, now on the 3rd leg.
Well, now the question now is really, can they break the record? 135.03. They're going to win the race. There's no doubt about that.
And Lee Jensen, the anchor leg for the Bears.
And she's already won the 50 freestyle, so guess who the fastest footer in the pool is right now?
Bears pulling away. The 200 medley relay goes to California convincingly, an NCAA record.
Wow. You know, I will tell you over and over again about momentum is such a huge key in this sport. Cindy Tran leading off that relay. Right there, she's right in front of him with that 23-4. But watch this exchange, breast to fly. Cal is so good. Remember, these swimmers have been swimming so much together over the last year or two. And look at this. This is a 200, Trey. It's incredible, the distance between themselves and the rest of the field. They won by over a second.
An NCAA record swim for California, easily beating out Arizona as Tennessee finishes in third place. Our updated standings after 7 events: California 172 points, with Stanford followed by Arizona. Coming up, a great race on tap, the star-studded field in the 400 IM from Auburn. Welcome back. The much anticipated 400 IM. Will a record go down today? Julia Smith of Stanford owns the American and the NCAA marks. But in lane 4, Elizabeth Beisel has a chance at it. She's the #1 seed, and she talks about her goal for this race in Auburn, Alabama.
I would like to break 4 minutes again like I did at SEC's. The whole field, I can't even name all of them. It's such a stacked field, and obviously I would want to win, but I know it's going to be such a great race that even if I'm 2nd or 3rd or 8th, I'm still going to be probably going so fast because everybody here is so fast already. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to the race definitely, and just to see who wins and stuff. So.
Well, I can promise you one thing, Trey. She's not going to finish 8th. There's no way she'll finish 8th. And she is right. This could be an instant classic right here. You've got 3 swimmers, not 1, not 2, but 3 that have a chance to go the fastest time in history. Pretty incredible.
An impressive start list. We talked about Beisel. You see Hosu from USC in lane 6, Caitlyn Leverens from California in lane 3. Those 3, you got to think of the favorites here.
No question about it. The race will come between those 3 swimmers. Hosu, defending champion, world champion 2009. Beisel wins the world championship in 2011. So you've got 3 of the best swimmers in the world, and Hosu wants a little bit of revenge because this lady right here beat her in the 200 IM by the slimmest of margins earlier in the meet. So you know that she's got a little revenge on her mind, but Hosu and Leverens are so good on the back half of the races. We'll get to that more a little bit later on. Elizabeth Beisel has her work cut out for her, no question about it, but all of them have been under 4 minutes, Trey, and with Beisel having that great backstroke, this is really going to be a fun race to watch. And I hate it being early in the broadcast because you think, well, what could be after this? We've got a lot of great races, but this could be the race of the meet right here. Well, you have all 16 links to the pool, 100 butterfly, then it goes backstroke, breaststroke, and freestyle. 4 links of each stroke, Trey. And this is a crazy race with these 3 swimmers because they each have an incredible specialty. Hosu has a great butterfly. She has a great freestyle. Beisel has the backstroke. Leverens has the breaststroke, so you could see the lead change hands many times.
And 7 of 8 from last year are back in this race.
Yeah, it's an incredible field. And then we're not even talking about girls like Vavra, who comes in seated 2nd. Madeline Dorado, World University Games champion, down in lane number 2, right there taking an early lead. But I just don't think overall they can match what these other 3 swimmers have.
Up in lane 7, Teresa Crippen from Florida, off to a good start.
Yeah, I totally forgot about her. Teresa Crippen, who's been there so many times before. She's been a finalist here in this event and comes in as a senior.
Hosu in lane 6, a bit of an edge ahead of Crippen in lane 7.
Yeah, this is where the race starts to shape up. There's Hosu right there. She should have the early lead at the halfway point. Her problem is her breaststroke, and this is where Leverens is so strong. Leverens is a right three. You might think she's completely out of it. Trust me, she's not. Watch what she's capable of doing in the breaststroke. And then I talked about Beisel backstroke. There she is right there with that blue cap. You can see her start to make her move just a little bit on the field, but everybody else is playing a little bit. See, hey, you three have been talked about a lot, but you're going to have to start coming after us now. Madeline Dorado, we mentioned earlier, is hanging in there.
In lane 2, and she's trying to battle Hosu of USC in lane 6 for the lead, challenged by Crippen in lane 7 from Florida.
It's incredible. There's Beisel right there in front of you, but look how far back Caitlyn Leverens is, but watch the breaststroke leg of Caitlyn Leverens.
Now, Hosu's on a record pace right now.
Yeah, she is. 154.7 at the halfway point. She's just under record pace, and they're all a little bit slow. So there was so much pressure, Trey, in coming in here and beating times. They're all saying, oh, everybody's going to break the record. Really, when you get into this situation, it's about racing. You want to race. You don't worry about the clock.
It's a close battle again. Hosu of USC in lane 6 with the edge right now.
And Hosu is doing a great job. And the thing is about it, she's way up there, so the other swimmers can't see her. Leverens is, I think Hosu's going to win it. We're still early on, no question about it. Leverens is going to go by her, but she's got to have at least 3 seconds on her to be able to have a chance. That's Leverens right there.
Challenging.
She'll have a chance.
She's taking the lead here, Rowdy. Caitlyn Leverens in lane 3 has moved out in front of Hosu in lane 6.
But I think it had to be more than that. I really do. It looks like she's got it in the bag, but watch Hosu's freestyle. Leverens' weak stroke is freestyle, and this is where Hosu almost caught her in the 200 IM, and they're already the first 25. Hosu's has gone by her.
The defending champ in a battle in lane 6 with the Cal Bear in lane 3, Leverens. It's a battle, 1-2 right now.
Yeah, Hosu's is good. I mean, Leverens is trying to hang with her in the freestyle. Once again, weak stroke against one of the best strokes. I think it's going to be very tough for Leverens to pull this one out.
Hosu has led most of the way. She leads right now in the late stages of the 400 IM.
Well, 3:02 was the split. Now we're looking at the time here, 3:58.2. This is all Hosu. Hosu's going to win this race. 3:58.23 is the fastest time in history.
Trying to defend her championship, Katinka Hosu of USC trying to bring it home. Leverens is not going to get her. NCAA record for Katinka Hosu of USC. Leverens and Beisel in third.
She was not going to be denied on that race. Here's the fly to back turn right here. Hosu taking advantage of that. She's a great butterflyer. European champion in the 200 butterfly, has always been a big factor. NCAA champion in the fly. Here's Beisel at the halfway point, trying to almost will her way back into this race. But breaststroke, even though she's improved on, she actually falls back on Caitlyn Leverens right there. This is where she takes the lead, but the lead had to be bigger. You just can't compete against Katinka Hosu this last turn, and you can see this underwater, what she did. 3:56, Trey. That's a record by over a second and a half, and Leverens at 3:57 breaks the record too, so you had 2 under the record, just what we thought.
Katinka Hosu, a new NCAA record mark. She defends her championship, winning the 400 IM. In second place, Caitlyn Leverens, a new American record in second place. Elizabeth Beisel achieving her goal of sub 4 minutes, finishing third. Cynthia Potter with Hosu, who defends her championship.
Katinka, that was an incredible race. Halfway through it, Rowdy Gaines predicted that you were not going to be denied. Did you feel that way?
Honestly, I wasn't sure. I know Caitlyn is a really good breaststroker, so I couldn't really see her, so I wasn't sure. I was just pushing as hard as I could.
We also talked about that it's about racing and not the record necessarily. Is that your strategy?
Honestly, I've been pretty close to record, so I really wanted to get it. And last night, Caitlyn got the record, so I was pretty jealous, honestly. So I'm really happy today.
Well, congratulations on the win, the record, and defending.
The 2012 NCAA Men's Swimming and Diving Championships takes place this weekend in Seattle, Washington. For more information, highlights, and results, log on to ncaa.com.
We head to the sprints, the 100 fly. Look at the records held by a familiar name, Natalie Coughlin, while at California. This has an Auburn flavor.
Yeah, that's one record that won't be broken in this race, although we're breaking many. That one should be safe, but the top qualifier, Olivia Scott, you know, Trey, she did a great job. Only a sophomore to be able to come in here, and Auburn has proven to be very, very strong in the sprints. Brett Hawk, the coach there, has done such a great job. Well, there's a familiar name right there. Ayanna Vanderpool-Wallace has done so well for Auburn. She's a senior, would love to go out with a win here. You know, she did not win the 50 in the home pool. Got another chance later on in the 100 free as well.
Look at the lane assignments. Jennifer Conley from Tennessee in lane 3.
There are a couple of volunteers in this race. That will certainly help Matt Kredich's team come out very well. You know, they're in the fight for a top 5 finish, and there's Jennifer Connelly, and we saw her at the SEC championships just a few weeks ago and performed so well, and she's going to be a big factor here. She's right next to Olivia Scott. And there are those 2 Auburn swimmers. Scott right there in the middle, lane 4, the other orange cap. Vanderpool-Wallace. This is one of the most wide open races, though, on the entire program, Trey. I wouldn't be surprised if any one of these swimmers wins this race. Only about 0.8 of a second separates the top 8 swimmers.
Scott in lane 4, right above her, Vanderpool-Wallace in lane 5.
Vanderpool-Wallace just has so much speed. She's got to be able to use that advantage right there. She goes out fast, very quick at the 50. The question is, can she hang on? The last 25 in the prelims was slower than anybody else in the field.
Jennifer Conley staying right with them in lane 3.
Yep, Jennifer Conley's doing a nice job right there in lane number 3, trying to hang on. She's good at closing on this race. Olivia Scott right there in the middle of the pool has a chance. Look across the screen, you've got 5 or 6 swimmers right there in it.
Look up at lane 7 now, Sarah Isakovic.
It was! Isakovic did it!
The Slovenian with a surprise win in the 100 fly from Cal Berkeley.
Unbelievable. And that's the way this meet is going. It's just incredible the way that she was able to hang on all the way to the end. And look at the Cal group just going crazy. And this is her strength, this 200 free. She's a great 200 freestyler. In fact, she's got the consoles right after this race in the 200. But this is one that Cal loved to have. Just was sort of like icing on the cake for them, and that just helped pad their lead they already have. Well, the 2 Auburn swimmers got off to a much better start. Vanderpool-Wallace right there really took it out hard that first 50. You can see her with that lead at the halfway point. The problem was the second 50, and that let the rest of the field, Trey, get back into this race, specifically right there in lane 7.
Our 100 fly results, a big race for Cal. Isakovic in lane 7 winning it, beating out Olivia Scott, Kelsey Floyd of Tennessee, Jennifer Conley in 4th. 20 big points for the Bears in the team race. Coming up, the 200 free when we come back. Time for the women's 200 free. Vollmer of Cal has the record set in 09. And we look middle of the pool in lane number 4 at Alyssa Anderson, who has never won an event. She's the top seed, and she's flanked by a couple Georgia Bulldogs, Shannon Freeland and Megan Romano. There's Anderson.
Yeah, already got 9th in the 500 earlier in the meet. And this is one race where she is going to be very good on the back half. Lanes 4 and 5, actually. You've got Vreeland from Georgia and Anderson, more 200, 500 swimmers. And then you've got some sprinters on either side of a Megan Romano. Liv Jensen in 7's already won the 50. So this is going to be a tale of 2 different races here, the front half and the back half. Watch Megan Romano, lane 3, Trey, from Georgia. Just a junior. She was 46 flat earlier in the meet on the end of the 400 medley relay. That's the fastest 100 split in history. Obviously a lot of speed. We talked about Jensen up there in lane number 7. These are the speedsters. Going to go out very fast, right there and there. We talked about that. Don't take your eye off, though. They're in the middle of the pool. They'll come back here the back half.
And now Romano from Georgia, the white cap in lane 3, and you mentioned Jensen in lane 7 from Cal.
And one swimmer I haven't talked about is Carly Bispo, right there in lane number 2. She's the top returning swimmer from last year's NCAA. She was 4th last year. Only 2 of the 8 swimmers from last year are here in this final.
And now Romano, the junior, and Jensen, the senior, in a battle, and Romano has the edge for Georgia, but not by much.
I know, but I love the way she's looking very smooth in the water. Now, Bispo, right underneath her, though, is a pure 200 freestyler. This is her best event. Romano, probably, I'm guessing, on 125, if it was a race, would be her best event. So Bispo's going to be able to come back. Forget Jensen, she's out of it. She is a drop-dead sprinter, so she's going to be gone. Boy, Megan Romano looking pretty good, though. I love her turns, very crisp on the turns.
She has 4 NCAA championship medals, a gold and a silver, NCAA record pace.
Oh, she's looking really good. I like Megan Romano to win this. I really do. The junior from Georgia is going to give Coach Jack Barley a huge victory. They needed this.
Romano pulling away. Bispo in lane 2, trying to battle for second. Romano wins easily. NCAA and an American record. Megan Romano, Bispo second, Jensen third.
Where did that come from? I mean, 46 flat on a relay is one thing, but she qualified with a 43.4. Here's the halfway point. This is what I'm talking about, right there in lane number 3 with that white cap. See what she did? She built a huge leap, but she didn't jump on it too much early on, Trey, and she kept those legs in it the whole way. That's so difficult in the 200 to have that constant 6-beat kick for 200 yards over 1 minute and 41 seconds, and she did it. Not much of a reaction because she's probably just exhausted, but that's a huge win for her and for Georgia to need it and really try to get back into this team race.
The 200 free won by Megan Romano of Georgia, an NCAA and American record, 3rd NCAA record to fall tonight. Here's Rowdy Gaines with the Home Depot coaching clinic.
That sound is on the mind of every competitive swimmer, especially here at the NCAA Championships, where sprinting dominates, and a great start, is imperative.
It's definitely one of those sounds where any swimmer, if they ever hear it, they're going to react immediately.
We joke about 20 years from now, hear the starting horn going past a pool on the street or something and just jump.
All you can think about is just honing in on that sound and just waiting for it.
Before my race, I just take some deep breaths and I get up on the blocks and it's like showtime.
There are 3 key points to a great start. First and foremost, the most important word, reaction. You have to react off the gun, the horn, the beep. Number 2, the speed into the water is actually more important than the distance you travel. You have to get into the water as quick as possible. And last but not least is streamline. Set your entry into the water before you hit the water and then streamline. That will help your momentum and that will help your breakout swim. And believe me, that familiar sound goes all the way back to the beginning. The sound of the horn.
NCAA championships continue with the 100 breast. Larson of A&M in the pool has the record, but the American record, Kirk of Stanford in 06. As we look at the lane assignments here, Larson in lane number 4. And she is the second last year in this event, but set the record in prelims of the Big 12.
Yeah, she was so close to that American record as well. And the only person I thought that might give her a run was Casey Carlstrom from USC. She didn't even final. She was in the consolation final. So this race is clearly one that Bria Larson should dominate. There are some really good swimmers here and some from really fun schools. George Mason's got a representative, ASU, Arizona State, Columbia, Wisconsin, Northwestern. Love to see this well spread. This doesn't have a big factor on the team race. Cal Berkeley does not have any swimmers in here. Georgia does. A&M does. Georgia's the only one that might have a chance. to catch Cal. So they're really not a big factor from a team standpoint, but Bria Larson right there in lane 4. Keep an eye on her, middle of the pool.
She said she's a little nervous today, but had a good swim in the morning.
Yeah, she did have a good swim. Wasn't spectacular because you're comparing it to what she did at Big 12s, where she broke that NCAA record. She should be better, a little bit looser tonight. Boy, she just sets her corners so well with her hands. And see that no dramatic up and down motion, Trey, and gets into and out of her turns very well because she's very tall. She's a tall swimmer for a breaststroker.
Sophomore from A&M with a half body length lead in lane 4.
57, 77, 6, 7. Just missed it.
Larson.
No, she got it. She got it. Oh. Unbelievable. Fastest time in history.
NCAA, an American record.
And she's got a great start reaction, such a huge key. There she is off the blocks. And then what she does is she does so well is gets in and out of the turns and watch this great extension at the end. That's a perfect finish to break the record by 6/100ths of a second.
Another NCAA mark falls. Bria Larson of Texas A&M winning the 100 breast. Ashley Danner of George Mason second. And Rebecca Adervik of Arizona State third. Here's Cynthia with another NCAA champ.
Bria, congratulations, shattering your own record. Fastest time in history, in fact. Tell me about it.
It was amazing. I gotta tell you, I was freaking out a lot. And everyone, even the other swimmers that aren't on my team, they were so supportive and so nice. And just everyone was just, the vibe was insane. And it's just, I heard the crowd, and you know, there's two kinds of crowds. The crowd before you finish a race, and the crowd is about to see a record. And I heard that crowd again, and I got so excited. And so I hit on my walls, and it was awesome.
What does it mean to you?
I've had the time on my hand, 57.75, all year long, on my hand, on my journals, on my mirror, and everything. And just to see me break that was incredible. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Congratulations, fabulous.
Thank you so much.
And automatically, she is going to be a huge factor to make that Olympic team now this summer, along with Rebecca Stoney and Jessica Hardy. She's got to be considered one of the favorites.
How about 4 NCAA records in 5 events so far as we look at the updated team standings? California in first with the #1 seed, Cindy Tran, coming up. They have a sizable edge over USC. Stanford just 2 points back. Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championship. I'm Trey Bender along with Cynthia Potter and Rowdy Gaines. Here's how the standings sit right now. California with 248 points. USC in second. Stanford just 2 points back in third place. Here is Cindy Tran, the Bears sophomore. Let's flash back. Austin, Texas, last year as a freshman in the 100 back final.
Well, what's crazy about this, Trey, that's lane 8. That's Cindy Tran, but she did it from the outside as a freshman. One of the rare things you see is an outside swimmer qualified 8th and ends up winning the race. Very bottom of their screen. Unbelievable, and she did it as a freshman. Not making that mistake here in this race. She's the top qualifier.
As we check the lane assignments for the 100 back, lane 3, Megan Romano, she's already won the 200 free. Can she be a challenger here?
I would say before that 200 free, no way. But yes, when you go 141-1 in a 200 freestyle, that automatically makes you a qualifier here. Remember, this is a long axis stroke, just like freestyle, so they're using a lot of shoulder rotation, so all she's got to do is flip over. But Cindy Tran is going to be tough to beat here. Although this is her 3rd race here in this session. She swam the medley relay, she swam the 100 fly, even though it was in the consoles. And by the way, at consolation swim she did in the 100 fly, would have finished 2nd in the 100 fly. She's got a chance to be really good here. Would have finished 3rd, actually, in the 100 fly there, so she's going to be really tough to beat. But that's a good point you make about Romano. Jennifer Connolly's another one in lane 2. These swimmers are swimming some tough doubles today. Connolly was in the 100 fly. She was in the relay. She's right there in lane number 2. Watch Denninghoff. She might be the dark horse in this from Arizona in lane number 5. She's got a lot of great speed, but wow, there goes Cindy Tran.
Tran in the navy blue cap in lane 4 with the lead.
And she has such amazing underwaters. Watch her. Watch this turn right here, Trey. Watch how long she stays underwater here. And this is a credit to Terry McKeever, the head coach of Cal. She does this, trains her swimmers like this. Look at that. The other swimmers are taking 3 or 4 strokes. She swims 60% of the race underwater.
NCAA record pace.
And would this be amazing? Guess who has the record? The best underwater swimmer in the world, Natalie Conklin, 49.9.
Cindy Tran in lane 4, thinking about a record. Can she get there?
8, 9. Oh, just missed it.
50.31. Tran wins. Does not get the NCAA mark. Romano in second place. Conley in third from Tennessee.
But I can guarantee you she has a smile on the face because it's about team points. That's why it's so huge for Cindy Tran.
So this is the way the team standings now look. California, 70-point lead in front of Georgia, with Stanford sitting in third place. Cynthia Potter now joins me as we pick up with the 3-meter diving. And Jael Patrick, the Texas A&M senior, has the lead. You're looking at Samantha Pickens in 4th place right now, entering the 5th round, the sophomore from Arizona. Broke the school record on the 3-meter this year in Tucson.
And it's a very close contest. There's just not a lot of flaws in her form at all. I mean, she's strong. She has flexibility of a gymnast. She is a fantastic technical diver, and she knows she needed to rip that entry. That's what she was doing when she was putting her hands together and stretching. A little bit cleaner entry, and she probably would have received 9s on that dive, but certainly still a good dive.
Just a sophomore.
She did get a 9. Did get a 9.
Solid dive as Benny Danton in 3rd place in the competition here in round 5. The senior from Auburn, SEC champ, trying to deliver here at the NCAA, is in the hunt.
In 3rd place. About 7 points out of 2nd behind Bianca Alvarez. An inward 2.5 somersault tuck has lower degree of difficulty than Bianca Alvarez and Jael Patrick, who are in 2nd and 1st right now. Vinny holding her own, doing an inward 2.5 somersault in the tuck position. And at this point in the contest, only needing 7.5s to go ahead, but the best divers are yet to come.
And that dive's going to do it. 7.5s and better, up to 8.5 for Danton.
Yeah, she has been very steady, not missing.
Bianca Alvarez from Ohio State thinking about the 3-meter championship. And there's Vinny Danton looking on right now, challenging her in 3rd place coming into this 5th round. But Alvarez and Jael Patrick are also in contention for the championship. Here's the senior.
Well, Alvarez has 4/10 more degree of difficulty in this round than Vinny Danton. And so she only needs 6s. And a dive that receives 6s from 5 to 6 in the scores, and you know that the scores go from 0 to 10 in half-point increments, is only considered satisfactory. Oh, she went past vertical. I don't know that she's going to get 6s. She might receive a couple of 5s. Takeoff wasn't bad. Depends on how the judges feel about the overall impression of the dive. That's the first thing that they're supposed to look at. But that dive, as she went in the water, relaxed feet, Vinny Danton may be ahead of her after this dive. This was a miss for Bianca Alvarez. It's the first one I've seen, and uncharacteristic. She's usually so steady.
Mostly 5.5, so could have a change as Danton will stay ahead of Alvarez. And now Jael Patrick, the Texas A&M senior, with her final dive in the 5th round. Chance to make up some ground as well.
And she's got to be feeling real good right now, because she just, you can't not know that your biggest competitor just missed a dive right in front of you. So all she needs is 4.5s to stay in the lead. Oh, yes. Jael Patrick's looking very, very good. Sweet dive, an inward 2.5 somersault, and she will increase her lead greatly with this inward 2.5. And that flexibility, that toe point, that stretch, the balance. Very powerful diver as well. A dream to coach, according to Jay LaRue, the coach at Texas A&M University.
Jael Patrick has built a big lead heading into the 6th and final round. Right now, the battle for second place is close here at Auburn University. Samantha Pickens, the sophomore from Arizona.
And less than 6 points separate Samantha Pickens in 4th place right now from 2nd place, Benny Danton from Auburn, who follows her. Samantha Pickens doing a forward 2.5 with 1 twist for her final dive. Oh, what a nice entry. Very vertical. Now, I would say if you're around 70 points or maybe even more, you're going to move up. You need at least 70 points to set the stage to move up. Look, her feet aren't quite on the end of the springboard, but this dive should receive some 8s. It's just so well performed. That twist, beautiful. The tight legs and feet going into the water. I would score it an 8.
And that dive will get it done for Pickens as she is in contention. Looking at Benny Danton now, the senior from Auburn. She won the 1 meter at the SECs.
And with Samantha Pickens scoring 70.5 points on her last dive, Benny Danton needs 8s, more 8s than 7.5s to be ahead, to stay ahead of Samantha Pickens, because this is a lower degree of difficulty dive, 2/10 lower than what Samantha Pickens just did. So Benny needs 8s or above to stay ahead of Samantha Pickens on this back 1.5 with 2.5 twists. Well, it's a fabulous entry into the water, lovely, but her feet are crossed in the twist just slightly. You know, you don't know how much the judges are going to take off. They could take off up to 2 points for that, depending on what they see from their angle. Vinny has a great twisting position other than the feet when they cross in the twist, and she goes in the water beautifully, but it's just not a high enough degree of difficulty dive to depend on if you're not going to get 8.5s or above in the last round, with people doing dives for 3.0 for 8s.
And the score's not good enough to catch Pickens. 64.40.
Yeah, and there's too many 7.5s there for her to go ahead of Pickens. So at this point, Pickens is leading. But here comes Bianca Alvarez.
Senior from Ohio State.
She needs 8s also to go ahead of Samantha Pickens. Same story. Oh, that's an even better twisting dive than we've seen. That was, I think, the best dive that Bianca Alvarez has done the entire finals. And it's a 3.0 degree of difficulty. I definitely think this is an 8.0 diver, but beautiful flexibility. The feet stay together in the twist. She grabs her hands, and that's a great entry. That should score above 70 points.
And 75 for Alvarez. Great dive from Alvarez. And now Jael Patrick thinking about a potential championship here. Her final dive.
Well, the pressure is off, and of course we always want to end up with a terrific dive, and this is her lowest degree of difficulty dive. You could say her easiest dive, but there's no pressure. She needs 5.5s, and of course she will receive that. There's your champion, Jael Patrick, the senior from Texas A&M, hoping to win a berth to the Olympic Games for Australia. It's a tough road because Australia has fantastic international divers. But this is a final back 1.5 with 2.5 twists, no crossing of the feet, lovely entry into the water, vertical. And Jay LaRue, the coach there on the right, and her teammates giving her a high five and a hug. Great way to go out. She's a senior, and she has done some amazing things for Texas A&M and their program.
So congratulations to Jael Patrick, the senior from Texas A&M, the Australian. 2 weeks from now, the Aussie Trials coming up, but a great way to finish off the 3-meter diving competition, winning the championship here in Auburn, Alabama. More swimming and diving action when we return to the women's championships here on the campus. This championship event is part of the Capital One Cup as teams compete for a combined $400,000 scholarship donation from Capital One. Here's a look at the standings. UCLA atop the women's sports right now, and a 3-way tie in the men's standings. Now we turn our attention back to the pool. The 200 backstroke, a Gator holds the record, Gemma Spofford in 09, and a Gator in lane 4 to keep an eye on. Elizabeth Beisel, last year 3rd in this event, the top seed.
Yeah, it's a pretty incredible field, but she is almost 3 seconds ahead of everybody else, and this race really should be all about Elizabeth Beisel.
Here's our start list. Couple Gators in lanes 4 and 2, couple of Virginia swimmers in lanes 6 and 8, Cavalier and Williamson.
Really impressed with Dominique Bouchard from Missouri, right there in lane number 5. Sarah Denninghoff from Arizona. Both coaches, Greg Rodenbaugh and Eric Hansen, have done a tremendous job. Greg Rodenbaugh in his first year, Missouri heading to the SEC next year. Not going to get any easier for him. And of course, Greg Troy coaches Elizabeth Beisel and Teresa Crippen down there in lane number 2. He's the head coach of the men's Olympic team this year. Beisel just has the whole package here in the 200 back. She's got pretty good speed, but she's got great closing speed. So she takes it out strong, may not even have the lead at the 50 or even the 100, but she'll take off after that.
Just a sophomore, bright future ahead for Florida. Has the advantage by almost half a body length now. Lane 1, though, Dorado and Stanford looking good.
Well, Madeline Dorado has already proven she belongs in this field. 3rd in the 200 IM. Earlier in the meet, 4th in the 400 IM. Got great endurance. And she's kind of snuck in there, being at the very bottom of the pool. You see in lane number 1. It's going to be very tough for Beisel to see her.
Battle of sophomores right now. Beisel and Dorado, lanes 4 and 1.
What I like, watch Dorado if you can, Trey. Watch what she does at the bottom of the pool. What she's doing a good job of is getting off the wall and really taking advantage of that great dolphin kick underwater. See, she's staying underwater about 2 or 3 strokes longer than Beisel. Beisel's already come up and taken a couple of strokes. This would be a huge upset. Beisel, I think, just saw her, though. Beisel, I think, just saw a quick look at Dorado. Now, whether that's going to help or not, that's another question, but at least she saw her.
Dorado staying right with her in lane 1. Beisel maybe a bit out in front in lane 4 in the blue cap.
Dorado is still in the thick of this, but for some reason, Beisel, I think when she saw her at the 150, she said, I can't worry about 4, 5, and 3. I've got to get after this, and she did.
Beisel gets it done. Strong finish in 2nd place. It will be Dorado from Stanford and Dominique Bouchard of Missouri 3rd.
I think Elizabeth Beisel just was happy to get the victory here. She came in this meet maybe just off, just a touch from where she was at SEC. She got 3rd in the 400 IM, very good, but she false started in the 200 IM, was DQ'd. So to come in here and win the race, that's the main thing. Here's the start. Make sure she arches her back real well. Doesn't have that great underwater dolphin kick like some other swimmers, but she still came out very well. Look at that great technique. Little finger first, above and beyond her shoulders. Nice, steady head, straight back, good solid kick behind her. And then I'm telling you, I think at the 150 she saw her, and then she took off right there at the last 50. Dorado tired just a little bit at the end.
The 200 back results, first individual championship for Elizabeth Beisel, just a sophomore at the University of Florida. Madeline Dorado of Stanford behind her in 2nd. Dominique Bouchard of Missouri 3rd. Cynthia with Beisel, who wins the championship.
Elizabeth, how relieved are you to finally get this win after being disqualified in this meet already?
It's such a relief. You know, we started the meet off on a pretty rough note. But it's, you know, I'm not really too pleased with the time, but I'm definitely pleased with the win, so.
Well, I got to ask you a question about seeing Dorado down here.
Right.
Rowdy thought that maybe you didn't see her until about the 150. Is that correct?
I just see her until the 175 on my last turn, and I was sort of just like thinking about all the training that I've done and how I needed to finish. But you know, I'm just happy I got points for the team.
Congratulations on your first win.
Thank you so much.
The 2012 NCAA Men's Swimming and Diving Championships takes place this weekend in Seattle, Washington. For more information, highlights, and results, log on to ncaa.com.
Our standings here in Auburn, California, with a 318-point total in front of Georgia by 26 points. USC is in third. We'll take a look at day one now. The 50 free, Ariana Vanderpool-Wallace, the favorite at the home pool, but a surprise winner.
Yeah, it was a huge shock. Right there in lane number 3, Liv Jensen really did a nice job. Watch her as she comes into play here. There's a great shot from above the pool. Right there with that dark cap, she had a great turn at the 25. Ariana Vanderpool-Wallace right in the middle of the pool was the favorite, but watch her stick this wall. Didn't breathe the last 5 or 6 yards, and she knew it as soon as she touched. Huge win for Jensen and the Cowbears.
Now we take you to the 100 free. There's the record held by Vanderpool-Wallace for the Auburn Tigers. And the lane assignments. A lot of star power, middle of the pool. Romano, Vanderpool-Wallace, and Jensen, who you mentioned, and there is the Georgia Bulldog, the top seed.
Yeah, Megan Romano has already won the 200 freestyle. She looks better than almost any swimmer in this meet, in my opinion. She just looks so smooth in the prelims, and she knows how to just do enough to get in there. I think she has to be a favorite here, but she's going to have some competition because Ariana Vanderpool-Wallace, even though she's not been sharp here, I think she's going to have a good chance. There's her mom and dad from the Bahamas. She really has a great chance to end her career on a high note if she can win this 100 freestyle. The coaches took her off the relay in the prelims. Now she should come in fresh. And then there's the winner of the 50 freestyle. I'm telling you, you've got a winner of a 200 free, the winner of the 50, Liv Jensen right there. This is going to be a great race. And then don't forget the dark horse in this whole field, and that's Margot Gear in lane number 5. I think she's got a good shot. She's already had the fastest split on some of the relays, although Megan Romano was 46 flat on the medley relay the other day. That is unbelievable. By the way, the fastest split in history. Now, Vanderpool-Wallace has the 3 fastest times in history. They've all been under 47. Nobody's ever won this meet in under 47, and you've got a chance of 2 or 3 breaking that right now.
Our highlighted swimmers lanes 2, 4, and 6. Jensen there in the Navy cap.
Good point you make. 2, 4, 6. Those should be the favorites right now. Vanderpool-Wallace is going for it. There's no doubt about that. She's got the most speed taking out the 100, but once again, sort of like the 100 fly, can she hang on the last 25? This would be a huge victory for Ariana Vanderpool-Wallace, but Megan Romano right there.
Vanderpool-Wallace in the home pool in lane 6.
She did it. She did it.
Beats out Romano. Mom and Dad love it.
You never quit. You can never quit. Win, lose, or draw any race, you've got to forget about it. That first day in the 50 freestyle, when she got third, I think she really was down. I was talking to her coach, Brett Hawk, and he said she was so down on herself, felt like she let down the team. She had this whole weight of the world on her shoulders, Trey. She's a senior. She's doing it in her home pool. And to lose that 50 free, coming in as a huge favorite, didn't win the 100 fly earlier, and now to come in here and win the 100 free right there in lane 6, had a great start. And that's what she's worked on the last couple races. Get in there and get in speed, have that speed to get into the water. And then she had a great turn. The turns, I think, were the key for her as far as overall in this race. Great stroke right there, all the way into the wall. You could see she was hurting, no doubt about it. But boy, she dug deep right there in lane 6, and believe me, Romano was charging another couple yards, and I think Romano would have gotten her. But she didn't.
She defends her title. Here's Cynthia.
Ariana, we read and heard that you weren't too happy after the 50. How important was it for you to win this race?
It was really important for me to win the race. Honestly, I just went into the race wanting to have fun. This was my last individual collegiate swim, and I just wanted to have fun. I was having fun. I was laughing before I went behind the blocks. I'm so happy that I won that, and I'm so happy I got to race against such a great group of girls.
Well, you are a person that is said to never give up, and that's a big message, is it not?
Yeah, definitely. After the 50 freestyle, Brett Hawk, my coach, pulled me aside and said, it's really important that you just get your head together and you come back and swim as fast as you can. That's exactly what I did.
Great swim.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cynthia. Ariana Vanderpool-Wallace winning the championship, defending her title as she edges out Megan Romano from Georgia. Margot Gear of Arizona finishes in third. Coming up, Bria Larson and Caitlyn Leverens square off the 200 breast from Auburn. The 1650 free, quite a battle. Wendy Trott going for her 4th straight NCAA title in this event, but Stephanie Peacock in lane 3 from North Carolina with the lead.
Let's see if they're on pace here. The record pace, there's Trott, 43.6. Boy, they're awfully close, awfully close. But you know what? Peacock is not giving up. You have to give a lot of credit to Stephanie Peacock. She's just a sophomore. Rich DeSelm there has done a great job of North Carolina. Look at this. This is just amazing.
Still on NCAA record pace, oldest record in the books, held by Janet Evans. It's Trott and Peacock.
Yep, there it is. 15-12 flat, and they're ahead of it. 15-11-7.
The record has stood since 1990. Trott and Peacock in quite a battle.
Peacock had that slight edge on that turn there, and Trott still hasn't been able to put the kick into it. I think Peacock's gonna get her.
Peacock going for the NCAA record.
She did it.
She has busted the record that Janet Evans set in 1990, NCAA record. Stephanie Peacock.
Nobody would have predicted that, Trey. Nobody would have predicted this race from Stephanie Peacock. She came in seated with a 15:46. So she went 6 seconds faster. There is Wendy Trott going for her 4th consecutive title. And Stephanie Peacock would not be denied at the end of a 66 lengths. And now she can afford a smile. That Tar Heel was happy.
And the proud parents of Stephanie Peacock, Andrew and Cora Leah, celebrating the moment.
Stephanie, your thoughts on beating this 22-year-old record?
Honestly, I don't even know what to say. I'm completely in shock. This is my first year swimming the mile, so I had no clue I was going to beat a record, but I'm really excited about it. I mean, I don't know, it felt good the whole time. I'm just really happy.
Did you have a sense of what was going on during the race with you and Wendy?
I mean, I knew that since I was like keeping up with her that I was definitely going a best time, but I had no clue that I was about to beat a record. I saw my coaches on the side of the pool going insane, so I knew I must have been doing something good, so I was excited.
Well, a huge congratulations and a great, great success.
Thank you.
Just 19 years old, and this record was set before she was even born, Rowdy.
1990, can you imagine? 22 years ago, she was still 3 years away from being born.
And speaking of old records, one record of note still standing. Look at that, 1981, my broadcast partner. It's getting a lot of talk around these parts.
Yeah, it's an old record, and it just shows you how old I am.
Here's the 200 breast now, and Caitlyn Leverens in lane 4 for the Bears.
Well, she's won her first individual title, as it said right there, in the 200 IM, an exciting race. The first day of the competition, 3/100ths of a second in that 200 IM over Katinka Hosu in a new American record. She is having a tremendous meet.
Our start list: Saw Haley Spencer in lane 2, and here's Bria Larson of Texas A&M. American record in the 100 breast.
Talking about having a good meet. Bria Larson just destroyed that record, and she's good in the 200 too, Trey. I mean, this is going to be a two-person race here, and it is exact opposite in race styles. You've got Leverens, who's a back half swimmer. Bria Larson has so much more speed, a front half swimmer. So don't be surprised to see Bria Larson with maybe a 2-second advantage at the 100-yard mark.
We mentioned Spencer in lane 2. She's last year's winner. Bottom of the screen, lane 2 from Minnesota.
And that was a bit of a shock and a huge upset last year. You might remember only 0.2 of a second separated the top 4 swimmers last year. She kind of came out of nowhere to win that. I don't think she can do it this year, though. Leverens, the way that meet she's having is just unbelievable. You see her right there in lane 4. And what's scary now for the rest of the field, especially Bria Larson, is Leverens is actually taking the early advantage. I didn't think this was coming.
She's usually a closer. That's her.
That's exactly right. You're so right, Trey. That's what she does best. She's able to close so well, at least in breaststroke. She doesn't have a great freestyle. She can't close in that freestyle normally. She did in the 200 IM, but boy, she is taking it out. I was talking to her coach, Terry McKeever, right before the race, and I said, do you think she can do it? She said, if she can just motor that first 100 without spinning her wheels, she might have a shot. Remember, she was 104 in the 100 breaststroke portion of the 400 IM. She only has to come back in that, and she's got a good chance of the record.
Almost a body length lead in lane 4 for Caitlyn Leverens. Lanes 5 and 3, Larson and Giselle Gahoida of Louisville in lane 3.
And I was talking to Caitlyn before the race as well, and I kind of winked at her and said, I wish you were having a better meet. You're looking kind of sloppy here. She said, I'll try to do better here in this 200 breast rally. 2:04.75. She's right there. 1:30. She's 1/100th of a second off the record.
Junior from Cal looking very strong.
And think about who has that record, Trey. The Olympic gold medalist, Rebecca Soni, the best breaststroker in the world.
Leverens starting to pull away from the pack now.
2, 3, 4. She's not going to get it. No! Oh, gosh.
2:04.76. Leverens.
1/100th of a second. Oh.
Not quite. Spencer in second, Larson third.
Oh, my goodness. And you can hear a pin drop right after that race, because literally right when she touched, you just heard this, oh, and this is the 150 turn. She was right there. She was believe it or not, she was 1/100th of a second off at the 150, and then 1/100th of a second off at the 200. She looked great the whole way. There's no complaints with her stroke. Great technique, great form, keeps that head perfectly still. It's so hard to do that when you get tired. Those hips are nice and high. And then watch this finish, great finish. I mean, she did everything. There was nothing she could have done any better from a technical standpoint. I mean, 1/100th, that's a half of a little fingernail traveling with that speed.
Second win for Leverens. Here's Cynthia.
Caitlyn, 1/100th from the record. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I should have had a little better of a finish, because I almost got it, but no, I'm really happy with my time. It's my best time, and I knew I could be close to the record, and I went for it, and I have to be happy with how I did.
Were there any special messages this late in the meet from Coach McKeever? Because it tightened up a little bit a couple of races ago.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Terry's an amazing coach, and we had a meeting before the session started, and it was, it got a little intense, and I think we all know that there's a title on the line, and I think she just gave us a message of, like, this is the last session, we need to go for it.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
The results from the 200 breast. Caitlyn Leverens, winner of the 200 IM, now the 200 breast, beating Haley Spencer of Minnesota, last year's winner. Bria Larson finishes in third. Coming up, Katinka Hozu and the 200 fly next. I'm Trey Bender along with Cynthia Potter and Rowdy Gaines, and now on the verge of a title, record-breaking meet. It's our last individual swimming event, the 200 fly. Lane assignments, focus middle of the pool. It'll be a USC and Cal battle possibly with Hosu and Isakovic. And there's Hosu, the senior.
What a meet she's having. Finished second to Leverens in that 200 IM, breaking the NCAA record, but finishing second, so it won't count. But she smashed the record in the 400 IM. Isakovic won the 100 butterfly. Lane 3, and actually Trey Cal can clinch the title. They're only 18 points ahead right now of Georgia, but they can clinch the title just by finishing this race. They have a diver in the final in the top 8. They had somebody in the consoles of the 200 butterfly, so all she has to do is finish and not get DQ'd, and if the diver gets 8th, they go into the last relay 44 points ahead of Georgia.
Lane 5 is Camille Adams from Texas A&M. She finished second last year in this event.
And I like Camille Adams, the way she's swimming. Just a sophomore, she had a career-changing swim earlier this season when she went 2:06 in the 200-meter butterfly. Automatically makes her a potential Olympian. 200 fly, one of the weak events on the scene for American swimming, so she's got a great chance to make the Olympic team. Katinka Hosu also going to the Olympic Games, but for Hungary.
As advertised, lanes 4 and 3, Hosu and Isakovic, USC and Cal.
Hosu looking very strong right now. Digs those hands with a high catch. She looks so smooth and so easy, just constantly traveling forward. And she's a very patient swimmer, Trey. You see how she just juts that chin right along the surface of the water. Nice undulation of the hips behind her.
She has 4 NCAA championship medals. Looking for a win here.
Boy, she just looks smooth. And if she wins this, and has a chance to break the record now. The record 149.92. Elaine Breeden, the only swimmer in history to break 150. I don't know if she's going to get that. 46, 47. No, she's just going to miss it.
Adams in second place from Texas A&M. But Hosu defends her title with the victory here in the 200 fly.
It is so tough to continue that momentum on the very last session of swimming. She's been through so much. 200 IM, 400 IM, relays. She's really carried the Trojans on her shoulders this competition and just pretty much ran out of gas. Here's the halfway turn right there. You can see already she's taking advantage of this race and taking a huge lead at the 150. And then coming for home, you could just see her hips dropping just a little bit, just getting tired at the end, kind of short on the finish. But Coach Dave Salo is doing something very special there at USC, and this team is going to be a tough team in the years to come, but they won't have Katinka Hosu.
It's a win for USC. Katinka Hosu defends her title. Big win for the senior. Finishing in second place, Camille Adams from Texas A&M, and Kelsey Floyd from Tennessee in third. We pick up final round coverage of the platform final. The points the Cal diver will receive will clinch the championship for the Bears. Kaylee Rowell, the sophomore, first Cal diver in 20 years to get points for that program. She was as high as third after the third round. The platform diving contest now in the 5th and final round. And here's Amy Kozad right now sitting in second place in the platform final. The junior from IU, her second NCAA trip as her dad looks on.
Yeah, it's her dad, Tom, and her grandfather, Wes. And, you know, Amy's got a chance here. She's got a chance to win. It's a back 2.5 with 1.5 twist. She has 6/10 degree of difficulty over Chen Ni, who follows her. Although she's behind by over 10 points, about 14 points. She really needs to put the pressure on Chen Ni by receiving above 8s. Oh, it's a good dive. It's just sliding a little bit. Grandpa West looking through the lens of the camera, just sliding a little bit past vertical. If she had just stopped that dive on a dime, reaches underneath her just slightly, certainly a good dive, but she could have had this dive for 8.5s and 9s if she just reached out in front of her a little bit more on the finish. So we'll see what happens. It's all up to Chen Ni now.
In second prior to the dive, and there are the numbers in the 7 range primarily, 7.5s. And here's the leader, Chen Ni. The final dive, round 5 of the platform final.
She's just got a great attitude. She's always smiling. And there's Dr. Doki watching Chen Ni's final dive. She's a senior. It's a back 2.5 with 1/2 twist at 2.6 degree of difficulty. She needs 7.5s. If she hits the entries, she definitely will be above a 7.5. There you go. There you go. Okay, I'm going to say it. Okie dokie. Her coach, Dr. Doki, just thrilled with that last dive, and who wouldn't be? Look at this entry. It's almost like there's a vacuum underwater, and the water is just sucked down with her as she goes in. Terrific last round dive.
And the numbers show what a good dive it was. Look at the 9s, a 9.5 as well for Chen Ni from IUPUI. Tori Lamp now from Tennessee trying to close strong, was in 3rd place prior to Kozad and Ni's dive.
Okay, never say never. She needs 10s on this dive to win. She needs 10s, and she puts it last for a reason. It's one of her best dives. Well, she's not going to receive the 10s, but it's still a really, really well-performed dive. No wonder she puts it last. And she goes in the water with a rip not quite as clean as Chen Ni's, but she goes in the water very cleanly, and she will be the 2nd place. The sophomore from Tennessee, great job as she came back from missing a dive in the 4th round.
Tori Lamp finishes strong. 9s and 9.5s, good enough for 2nd place.
Highest scoring dive in the meet.
Great finish from the volunteer, but there's the champ, Chen Ni from IUPUI, NCAA champion in the platform. Tori Lamp finishing in 2nd. The platform championship goes to Chen Ni of IUPUI, the NCAA champion, beating out Tori Lamp of Tennessee. In 3rd place, Amy Kozad of Indiana. And California gets points in 5th place, Kaylee Roll, the sophomore. We don't have time to show you all of the races, but we want to acknowledge the winners here at the championships. Welcome back. The championship's final event, the 400 free relay, won by Stanford. The Cardinal finishing strong, but California, the NCAA champs. Cynthia with Terry McKeever and the Bears.
Coach, I know you talked about your concerns about expectations as we went into this meet. Did they exceed your expectations?
Oh, absolutely. A total team effort, and we're so proud of everybody. And just repeating was tough, and Georgia fought us hard, and we showed up, and very proud of the way we showed up.
You had so many key swims, but it was over before the end of the meet. Tell me about the most important things that were happening and how you were handling all the pressure.
Well, I think we talked early on that the relays were going to be key for us, and we started out that first night just really improving on our 200 free relay and kept the ball rolling. We had more individual champions than we've ever had. We have diving for the first time, and it's just awesome. Yeah.
Well, let's talk briefly about that. The first time in 20 years, and there's a diver. Tell me, Todd Molzette, how proud are you of your diver that made the finals here?
The diver did awesome. Kaylee Rowell, she did awesome. So the whole team did great. It was a team effort. We trained very hard all year for this. So.
One last question is, now you had a bullseye on the back this year. Are you going to have a bullseye on the back and the front next year after winning 3 out of 4?
We might have to do that. We'll give you credit for the shirt.
California back-to-back NCAA championships. The Bears end up with 412.5 points. Georgia in second place, USC third.
And Trey, this is an Olympic year where magical things always seem to happen. 7 NCAA records, and none more impressive, I think, than the breaking of Janet Evans's 22-year-old record by Stephanie Peacock of North Carolina.
For Cynthia Potter and Rowdy Gaines, I'm Trey Bender. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.